And we begin with the External Affairs Minister's comment. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Friday said that key conspirators and planners of the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks continue to remain protected and unpunished. Speaking at a special meeting on countering the use of new and emerging technologies for terrorist purposes, he said the United Nations Security Council has regrettably been unable to act in some cases when it comes to proscribing some terrorists because of political considerations. And for more on this, I am joined with strategic affairs expert, Mr. Maroof Raza. Mr. Maroof Raza, so you must have observed the remarks of External Affairs Minister. So my question to you is, when External Affairs Minister says that the key perpetrators of the attack still remain protected under political support and shadow, this is very important remark.
Well, this remark has been doing the rounds, not just by Mr. Jaishankar, but by even our senior diplomats posted in New York. For me, the implications are as follows. Firstly, it's very clear that we are pointing fingers at China, which is blocking the UN's efforts to nail the terrorists like Masood Azhar, who are sheltered by Pakistan. And by implication, we are pointing fingers at China, which is not letting any UN resolution go through, which is going to see China either allow Pakistan to be held accountable or China stop blocking that and let the world take its own course. But it also shows the inability of the UN as a platform to do much for issues that it keeps championing about, whether it is battling terrorists and terrorism and the financing of terrorism, from which Pakistan has also been removed from the FATF list now because of America's blessings, none other. But the fact of the matter is that these institutions are talking shops. And by Mr. Jaishankar only pointing out indirectly and not directly, if we feel so strongly offended that China is doing what it is, diplomacy be damned. We should stand up and say that by China supporting Pakistan's case against Masood Azhar being nailed, then China is also to be held responsible for supporting and sponsoring terror. He hasn't said that. He says those who do that should also be held accountable. But somebody has to bell the cat. The same way is Mr. Jaishankar also implying that the US should be held accountable for supporting Pakistan because A, the US has recently provided Pakistan funding for its F-16 aircrafts for maintenance for battling terrorism. But do you battle terrorist groups with fighter pilots and fast-moving aircrafts like F-16? Or do you battle terror with troops on the ground and slow-moving helicopters? That's a question that even a school child can answer. But somehow, nobody has the guts to raise that in public against the US. And finally, and most importantly, the world and India in particular should start a debate as soon as possible about the relevance of UN. Is the world's most overrated, overpaid, ineffective debating society. And if you're going to keep going back to doing something with an organization which has no track record of delivering, you're wasting your time. The only time the UN delivers is when America gets it to deliver in a comprehensive resolution under Article 51(2) of collective security and goes into a country like Iraq and destroys Iraq, because all the tough leaders in the Middle East, whether in Iraq or Syria or Libya, were a counter to the sheikhs in the Arab world who saw them as a threat to their own regime, and so propped up America that please go and destroy them, otherwise they will end up encouraging our people to challenge our sheikdoms and our regimes. So, this whole lot of hypocrisy and this whole lot of double standards that prevails all over the world, from the United States to Delhi to Beijing and the Arab world, is disgusting. And if we really want to do something, then let's not make statements. Let's get on with it, play the game like Pakistan plays, and make it difficult for them to sponsor terror by covert operations and sponsoring and supporting groups that make Pakistan more unstable, so that Pakistan knows that India can have leverage over Pakistan. Other than Balakot strikes and the Uri strikes, we have shown no intent to exercise leverage over Pakistan. Back to you.
Mr. Maroof, when External Affairs Minister says that 2611 conspirators are protected and he's also seeking someone to be accountable for it, and he's seeking justice for the survivors as well.
Listen, I've been through that all over again and again. Even Obama, when he came to India, he stood there and made a statement in front of all the names that are carved on the walls of a monument in Mumbai who were victims of 2611. But beyond that, has anything happened? Has America broken off links with the Pakistanis? America used Pakistan for its own agenda. It was Pakistan that helped America get an exit out of Afghanistan, though it was a shameful exit, but they used Pakistan. America continues to use Pakistan to have a toehold there so that it can continue to use drone strikes over a Pakistani airspace, because Iran won't give America airspace to fly its drones to target so-called terror groups in Afghanistan. Now, the same Taliban you were negotiating with yesterday, today has become a terror group because he's not accepting your writ. So America must get its act together. It's a confused lot of policymakers out there. They're desperately trying to rule the world, but no clarity about the reality on the ground. And as far as Pakistan being held accountable for conspiring and for the attacks, there is enough evidence. Pakistani ex-ISI chief Shuja Pasha has admitted to the Americans that wo bande hamare the, operation hamara nahi tha. So quite clearly, Pakistan's role is well established on 2611. Other than what Kasab's testimony was, foolishly, we went and got Kasab eliminated and made a lawyer in Bombay a hero for getting him killed and eliminated. Every time something like this happened, if you had Kasab on the screen saying, this is how Pakistan trains and builds us up to attack us, that would have been a greater embarrassment for Pakistan. They heaved a sigh of relief when Kasab was hung. What did the victims of 2611 get? Just momentary pleasure that Kasab was hung and eliminated. So, we have a whole lot of rhetoric-related, social media-related influences on our approach and policy. We have very little clarity in our thinking. We are unable to stand up to America or to China beyond making diplomatic side slings at them. You want to confront your enemy, say so on the face. Then I will respect you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maroof, Raza, for all this information and sharing your views on this.